Feeling the pressure of the imminent server slam and realizing you simply don't have enough time to game? The sun is finally peeking out, the scent of spring is in the air and you're torn between savoring the outdoors and staying indoors to grind your game? Or perhaps you're just not in the mood to replay the same classes and areas as in the open beta. On top of all this, there's Mother's Day to think about this Sunday. Talk about stress. But on the other hand, there is Ashava's Cry and the beta Wolfpack cosmetics. They look absolutely tantalizing, and you know you must grab them before they become unattainable forever after the upcoming weekend. But worry not, dear gamer. With the tips and tricks from this video, you'll be able to level up your character to the max level of 20 with minimal effort and time investment and prepare for the epic fight against Ashava the Pestilent. If you find this video helpful and enjoyable, I would be absolutely thrilled if you could give it a thumbs up. If you're keen on more Diablo 4 content, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. But enough for the chit chat, let's dive right in, shall we? Everything starts with the choice of your character for the server slam. Rather than telling you which class to play, I think it would be more useful to guide you on why you should avoid certain classes. But before we go there, remember this. You are free to do whatever you want. This guide is purely about leveling up a character and defeating Ashava in the shortest possible time, grabbing the rewards along the way. Are you here simply for the fun, not minding how long it takes? That's absolutely fine, but this guide might not be for you then. I'm glad we could get that out of the way. Contrary to the full release, I wouldn't recommend choosing the Barbarian or the Druid for the server slam. Now, before you storm off to the comments to vent your frustration, let me explain. As seen in the beta, both the Barbarian and Druid had a slow, cumbersome start. Although they were buffed after the open beta, with Blizzard specifically mentioning a significant buff for the Druid, they still heavily rely on the appropriate legendary affixes. General Manager Harold Ferguson himself explained why the Barbarian appears weaker in the beginning but is an absolute beast in the endgame. The Barbarian carries 4 weapons and thus has the most item slots in the game, making him increasingly powerful as more legendary items and abilities become available. But as we know, the drop rate of legendaries has been significantly reduced compared to the beta. You might still get the right legendary, but the odds are much lower than they were 6 weeks ago. So I wouldn't bet on that, especially if you're short on time and unwilling to grind for gear. The Druid follows a similar pattern. Despite receiving significant buffs according to Blizzard, we don't know for sure how strong and significant these really are. This is a bit of a gamble. It could be great, or it could be absolutely underwhelming. Also, both the Barbarian and the Druid will not have their class specialization during the server slam. You can get the Barbarian's quest, but it's located in the dry steppes outside the playable area. The Druid's animal spirit attunement, a significant part of his power according to Rod Ferguson, is also outside the playable zone in Skosglen. The other 3 classes, on the other hand, can use their specialization, and it's absolutely powerful in all 3 cases. And last but not least, the Barbarian and the Druid have the lowest base movement speed. So that's why I've come to a firm belief that the Barbarian and Druid, whilst definitely formidable in the full release, may not be the most efficient choices in the server slam. Instead, I believe you'd fare better with the other 3 classes if time is of the essence. I for one am torn between beginning my journey with the spellbinding sorcerer equipped with a Hydra build, or maybe zooming around with a nimble rogue. But let's not forget the allure of skeletons and the mighty golem. Decisions. I think I'll leave it up to a spontaneous choice, but rest assured, it'll be one of these 3 that'll become my champion. Now, with the class selected, the next crucial decision you'll face is the difficulty level on which you want to embark on your adventure. If you're confident in your ability to survive the veteran mode without frequent deaths, then by all means go for the higher difficulty to snatch those extra experience points while leveling up. At certain points in the game, you could even consider adjusting the difficulty down, but I'll delve into that topic a bit later. Just remember, more is indeed more in this context. Now, once you're finally in the game, your mission is clear cut. Reach Kyovashad as swiftly and directly as possible. Forget about collecting gear, opening chests, chopping logs or inspecting piles of stone unless you literally stumble upon them. You'll likely outlevel these items in minutes, so it's not worth the distraction. Proceed through the prologue at breakneck speed, arrive in Kyovashad and then forget about side quests and the main story completely. Sure, the main quest yields a hefty amount of experience, but it's also a slow process. Also, farming dungeons isn't quite the same as in the beta. You'll have to wait about a minute for the dungeon to reset automatically. However, I would recommend running a few dungeons for two particular reasons. Firstly, completing certain dungeons can unlock Codex of Power aspects for your chosen class. Check the Codex, identify these dungeons, and focus solely on completing them. Besides the legendary aspect, you'll also accrue renown points, which are crucial for reaching renown level 3. This grants you an extra potion and, more importantly, 2 additional skill points. Both are rewards you should definitely aim to achieve. If you have some extra time, consider collecting the Altars of Lilith for a maximum boost in your character's core stats. It's a bit time consuming, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're passing by anyway. While the boost to your character's core stats is nice, the renown and experience points you gain from this are relatively minor. On the other hand, strongholds yield a whopping 100 renown and some can be conquered as early as level 15. It's definitely worth the effort. If you struggle, don't hesitate to temporarily lower the difficulty level. It may cost you a bit of XP, but you'll earn the 100 renown much quicker and there are faster ways to gain XP anyways. If you're having trouble locating dungeons or strongholds or anything else, I highly recommend using the interactive map on mapgenie.io. With a simple click you can deactivate all points of interest on the left side and only enable the ones that matter to you like events or strongholds. Clicking on the dungeons even reveals detailed information about the aspects. It's a truly invaluable time saver. After the various tweaks and changes to the dungeon system following the beta phase, it seems that the most efficient way to farm experience points now is through repeated participation in public events. Just to the west of Kyovashad there are 3 such events that are easily accessible. It's as simple as getting there, playing the event, teleporting back to town, and then teleporting back to the event. Doing so will put you in a new instance where you can typically complete the event again, or if fortune smiles upon you, you might even arrive at an event that's nearly finished and all you have to do is bag the rewards. This is a process you can often repeat several times. Even when you occasionally teleport back and find no event in progress, don't be disheartened. Give it a few more tries of teleporting back and forth. Most of the time you'll eventually find another instance with the event waiting for you to start. And from here on out it's just simply rotating from one event to another. With this method leveling up should be a breeze. In addition, you'll receive a 5% XP bonus for shared world activities as long as other players are nearby. So it's absolutely worth your while to stand shoulder to shoulder with other players battling against the legions of the underworld. But wait, I have some additional tips to help you squeeze even more XP out of your limited time. In Kyovashad, the potion brewer can concoct an elixir for you that grants bonus XP for, I believe, about 30 minutes. Therefore, keep this potion active whenever you have the necessary ingredients to brew it. As previously mentioned, there is a 5% XP bonus for having open world players near you. But for members of your own party, there's an even bigger 10% XP bonus. So cooperative play is definitely more rewarding if you all want to level up quickly. So maybe the official Diablo Discord server is a good place to find yourself some allies with whom you can tackle the slam together. And I have one last piece of advice for you if you're really keen on saving a significant amount of time. Play counter-cyclically. What this means is that you shouldn't play when everyone else is. Don't even try logging onto the servers at the start of the slam at 12 PM on Friday, only to spend hours frustrated in the queue, making practically no progress. Instead, consider logging in early Saturday morning around 5 or 6 AM. By that time, the rush should have passed and the service should have been patched, allowing you to jump right into the grind. The same principle applies to Ashava. Don't rush for the first Ashava. Instead, consider waiting for the third or fourth. This strategy should significantly reduce your login frustration and the associated wasted time. But those were all of my tips to efficiently and with the least possible time investment level up to 20 to then be able to take on Ashava. If you found these tips helpful and enjoyable, feel free to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to check out my last video, which is displayed right here on the screen. I hope you all have an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.